Hello, sixth graders. It's me, Mrs. James, and I am here to read more of Matilda by Roald Dahl. I hope you all enjoyed chapter 1 yesterday. We are going to dive right into chapter 2. For you, that is page 22. So let's get there. In my book, it's page 16, but for you, page 22. It says, Mr. Wormwood, the Great Car Dealer. That's the title of this chapter. Do you remember who Mr. Wormwood is? Who's Mr. Wormwood? Matilda's father. And so what is his job? The great car dealer. So Mr. Wormwood sells cars, used cars. So we're going to get to know a little bit more about him, I predict. All right, here we go. Page 22 for you. Matilda's parents owned quite a nice house with 3 bedrooms upstairs, while on the ground floor there was a dining room and a living room. Hello, my kids. I'm making my video.
What book are you guys reading?
Huh? We're reading Matilda.
Oh, I think I already watched that movie.
You did, but you remember reading it, right? Yeah. Wasn't it good? Yeah, see, the 7th graders are telling you guys that this is good. Okay, back to, here we go. Her father was a dealer in second-hand cars, and it seemed he did pretty well at it. That means he sold them. Second-hand cars are like used cars. Sawdust, he would say proudly, is one of the great secrets of my success, and it costs me nothing. I get it free from the sawmill. What do you use it for? Matilda asked him. Ha! The father said. Wouldn't you like to know? I don't see how sawdust can help you to sell second-hand cars, Daddy. That's because you're an ignorant little twit, the father said. His speech was never very delicate, but Matilda was used to it. She also knew that he liked to boast, and she would egg him on shamelessly. You must be very clever to find a use for something that costs nothing, she said. I wish I could do it. You couldn't, the father said. You're too stupid. But I don't mind telling young Mike here about it, seeing he'll be joining me in a business one day. Ignoring Matilda, he turned to his son and said, I'm always glad to buy a car when some fool has been crashing the gears so badly they're all worn out and rattle like mad. I get it cheap. Then all I do is mix a lot of sawdust with the oil in the gearbox, and it runs sweet as a nut. How long will it run like that before it starts rattling again? Matilda asked him. Long enough for the buyer to get a good distance away, the father said, grinning. About 100 miles. But that's dishonest, Daddy, Matilda said. It's cheating. No one ever got rich being honest, the father said. Customers are there to be diddled. Diddled means tricked and fooled and taken for all their money. Mr. Wormwood was a small, ratty-looking man whose front teeth stuck out underneath a thin, ratty mustache. He liked to wear jackets with large, brightly colored checks, and he sported ties that were usually yellow or pale green. Now, take mileage, for instance, he went on. Anyone who's buying a second-hand car, the first thing he wants to know is how many miles it's done, right? Right, the son said. So I buy an old dump that's got about 150,000 miles on the clock. I get it cheap. But no one's gonna buy it with mileage like that, are they? And these days you can't just take the speedometer out and fiddle the numbers back like you used to 10 years ago. They've fixed it so it's impossible to tamper with it unless you're a ruddy watchmaker or something. So what do? I use my brains, laddie. That's what I do. Let's pause for a second so we really understand this. When you buy a brand new car, there's like 0 miles on the car. When you buy a secondhand car or a used car, you buy it from someone or you buy it from the dealer, everybody wants to know how many miles is on the car, because that's going to tell them if the car is good, if it's going to last long. If it's low mileage, that means it hasn't been used that much. But if it's got a lot of miles on there, that means that the car has been used a lot and it's probably going to break down soon. So what Mr. Wormwood is trying to do is he's trying to say, here's what I'm going to do. I need to find a way to take the miles and make them look lower even when they are a lot of miles. So let's just say that my car that I bought had maybe 1,000 miles on it. That's not bad. That's a nice used car. But say it really had 100,000 miles on there, but somebody told me and changed it to where it was 1,000. Well, that is a scam. Let's keep reading. We're on the second paragraph down. So I sit down and say to myself, how can I convert a mile-edge reading of 150,000 into only 10,000 without taking the speedometer to pieces? Well, if I were to run the car backwards for long enough, then obviously that would do it. The numbers would click backwards, wouldn't they? But who's going to drive a flaming car in reverse for thousands and thousands of miles? You couldn't do it. Of course you couldn't, young Michael said. So I scratched my head, the father said. I use my brains. When you've been given a fine brain like I have, you've got to use it. And all of a sudden, the answer hits me. I tell you, I feel exactly like that other brilliant fellow must have felt when he discovered penicillin. Eureka! I cried. I've got it. What did you do, Dad? The son asked him. The speedometer, Mr. Wormwood said. The speedometer, if you look in your car with your parents and you look on their dashboard, like right in front of the driver's wheel, that's where like the speedometer is. And it tells you how many miles are on the car, I think. I think that's what it is. Anyway, the speedometer, Mr. Wormwood said, is run off a cable that is coupled up to one of the front wheels. So, first, I disconnect the cable where it joints the front wheel. Next, I get one of those high-speed electric drills, and I couple that up to the end of the cable in a way that when the drill turns, it turns the cable backwards. You got me so far? You following me? Yes, Daddy, young Michael said. These drills run at a tremendous speed, the father said. So when I switch on the drill, the mileage numbers on the speedo spin backwards at a fast rate. I can knock 50,000 miles off the clock in a few minutes with my high-speed electric drill. And by the time I've got finished, the car's only done 10,000 and it's all ready for sale. She's almost new, I say to the customer. She's hardly done 10,000. Belonged to an old lady who used it once a week for shopping. Can you really turn the mileage back with an electric drill? Young Michael asked. I'm telling you trade secrets, the father said. So don't you go talking about this to anyone. You don't want to put me in jug, do you? I won't tell a soul, the boy said. Do you do this to many cars, Dad? Every single car that comes through my hands gets the treatment, the father said. They all have their mileage cut to under 10,000 before they're offered for sale. And to think I invented that all by myself, he's added proudly. It's made me a mint. Matilda, who had been listening closely, said, But Daddy, that's even more dishonest than the sawdust. It's disgusting. You're cheating people who trust you. If you don't like it, then don't eat the food in this house, the father said. It's bought with the profits. It's dirty money, Matilda said. I hate it. 2 red spots appear on the father's cheeks. Who the heck do you think you are? He shouted. The Archbishop of Canterbury or something? Preaching to me about honesty? You're just an ignorant little squirt who hasn't the foggiest idea what you're talking about. Quite right, Harry, the mother said. And to Matilda she said, You've got a nerve talking to your father like that. Now, keep your nasty mouth shut so we can all watch this program in peace. They were in the living room eating their suppers on their knees in front of the telly. The suppers were TV dinners in floppy aluminum containers with separate compartments for the stewed meat, the boiled potatoes, and the peas. Mrs. Wormwood sat munching her meal with her eyes glued to the American soap opera on the screen. She was a large woman whose hair was dyed platinum blonde, except for where you could see the mousy brown bits glowing out from the roots. Sorry, I just had a fear that I wasn't recording, so that's why I stopped. But I am. She wore heavy makeup, and she had one of those unfortunate bulging figures where the flesh appears to be strapped in all around the body to prevent it from falling out. "Mummy," Matilda said, "would you mind if I ate my supper in the dining room so I could read my book?" The father glanced up sharply. "I would mind," he snapped. "Supper is a family gathering, and no one leaves the table till it's over." "But we're not at the table," Matilda said. "We never are. We're always eating off our knees and watching the telly." "What's wrong with watching the telly, may I ask?" the father said. His voice had suddenly become soft and dangerous. Matilda didn't trust herself to answer him, so she kept quiet. She could feel the anger boiling up inside her. She knew it was wrong to hate her parents like this, but she was finding it very hard not to do so. All the reading she had done had given her a view of life that they had never seen. That's what reading does for you all, sixth graders. Reading gives you access and a vision of life and of situations that a lot of people around you have never seen. It makes you better. It makes you stronger. I hope that you will find that. Anyway, if only they would read a little Dickens or Kipling, they would soon discover there was more to life than cheating people and watching television. Another thing, she resented being told constantly that she was ignorant and stupid when she knew she wasn't. The anger inside her went on boiling and boiling, and as she lay in bed that night, she made a decision. She decided that every time her father or her mother was beastly to her, she would get her own back in some way or another. A small victory or two would help her to tolerate their idiocies and would stop her from going crazy. You must remember that she was still hardly 5 years old, and it is not easy for somebody as small as that to score points against an all-powerful grown-up. Even so, she was determined to have a go. Her father, after what had happened in front of the telly that evening, was first on her list. All right, sixth graders, that is the end of that chapter. I hope you are enjoying Matilda so far. The next chapter is called The Hat and the Superglue. One question I am going to ask you is, what decision did Matilda make after she saw her parents were treating her? Here's the answer. Matilda decided she was going to get them back. Let's read more to find out. Have a great day, sixth grade.